Welcome to the Brie Pod. I'm here with me, Brie. So, last week we talked all about my 2-year anniversary for the laparoscopic surgery for the answer to endo, and then touch base on how how I got to where I am today with the podcast and with being pregnant. And this week, I'm really excited because I have been searching the platforms where you can get guests for podcasts to talk a little bit more about what I guess what the next stage that I'm about to go into with being a new mom. And for those of you that are veterans in the mom world, um, I am open to any suggestions and advice that you may have regarding these next steps because my main thing is that I want to bring you along this journey with me with my teeth and with the pregnancy and with, what's going to happen when endo comes back. Like, is it going to feel better? Is it going to be worse? Where are we going to be at? And then, of course, mental health and all the things that the pre-pod is all about. So I am definitely excited for the upcoming things that are going to be happening for the podcast. I'm hoping to be as present as possible to keep up in some way with an episode every week, even if it's a check-in. I'm like, hey guys, I'm dying over here or whatever. Because I don't want to stop this journey. I feel like it brought so much love and light and learning and growing and friends and support that really has been nice to have. And I really appreciate all of you that have come into my life and brought me such beautiful things that I needed, that I didn't know that I needed. And I hope that I also gave back as well because I don't want to be a taker. So I am in the workings right now of talking to a potential um, guest who would be speaking on massages for babies. So I'm very excited to see a little bit about that because one of the things I've been looking into is having a chiropractor come on to talk about the Webster technique as well as the benefits of a baby that or a young a young baby needing a chiropractor because while I've been going to the chiropractor, I feel like it's been very beneficial. Not just for me, but the things that they can do is amazing. I know that I've had this conversation before with another person that actually had been working in the industry, and she was telling me how much um, a chiropractor can really do. And then now that I've gone back to help with my back issues during this pregnancy, I'm really learning how they actually have so much under their belt that I don't think is out there enough or talked about enough of what they can do. And people are always kind of afraid of like that, um, of how, you know, how they perform their tasks, which they do have options out there if you are not a fan of um the cracking with their hands like that sound. I believe that they have a tool that can help with that as well. But I've been learning so much with it, or as I mean, there's so much more than just what I'm saying, but I've been learning so much with it that I think it would be really beneficial to have someone come on and really, sorry, talk about that. Because I have heard that it can help with colic. I've heard that it can help with gas with the babies because, as you know, sometimes the gas is really so painful that it's hard for the baby to go to sleep. And so I just think that a lot of this information would be helpful. So I'm gonna try to get us a couple of guests to speak about this stuff as we go on because I don't want it to always be me talking. um, well, it's the Brie pod, but I don't want you to feel like, oh gosh, I'm bored of her. So I want to get us some more people in as I can, as best as I can, because I know that my life's about to change completely. So who knows what it will be like when the time comes. But today, one of the biggest topics that I wanted to talk about is transitioning because, as many of you know, I am paralegal. I work from home. And the biggest transition that's about to occur in a couple of weeks when he decides to arrive or sooner is going to be leaving my job for a little bit to to be with the baby, to learn kind of like some form of something. I get that there's not going to be like a specific schedule, but to learn some form of um I don't even want to use the word schedule because it's not like that you go to A, B, C to D to E. It's more so whatever the roller coaster takes us for that day. So I know that that is going to be a huge challenge for me, but also a lesson and something to, you know, to really learn about. And then on top of that, after I've had my time off with my son, I will be transitioning into working and taking care of him. And so that's going to be something new and different. And what's different too with us is that we are considered travelers, really, with how we, where we're at. Like, um, a lot of the places that we go to are because of Jeremy's job and where he needs to travel to. So a lot of the places that we live, we don't really have um, family around us. We do have some friends, but there's definitely a big difference when you have like your tribe of family and friends that you've known for so long. Um, and then, you go to a new place where you need to make friends and get to know people. And the thing is, I'm so introverted. I don't try to get to know people that much either. I only get to know whoever Jeremy got to know, I guess. So, it's gonna be a very interesting transition. The thing is, do I think it will be easy? No, I don't think any of this is gonna be easy. I think that is just kind of a part of the experience of being a parent from what I've seen is that, you don't want to have your expectations of this is gonna happen or that's gonna happen because at the end of the day, it's not your decision. It's basically what the baby says. Um, so I'm very curious to see how that transition is going to work. My company, but the place that I work for, they are really amazing about this whole situation where they plan to help me transition really nice back into work when I'm ready to go back. So I'm really appreciative of that. And I'm kind of scared too because I think what's not really talked about a lot is the fact that if you are in the if you are a working woman and you have a baby, um the the that leading up to before you have the baby, so for those of you that have already had children, it's that part right before where you don't know what's going to happen yet because you're a first time mom. Um it's that part leading up to wondering how are you going to um be successful in a position and also be a great mom. And just a side note, I do want to add, I'm not taking out uh moms that stay home or moms that choose a different path with raising their babies because I think that we're all different and we all have our own, you know, ways that we go about it. So I'm not coming in here being like only working moms are this or that. I'm just saying from the path that I'm choosing to take, um, I'm in that position right now where mentally I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And it sounds selfish, but I think it's a part of change, right? Like when you're going from something that you're used to something completely new, it's a whole other world. And one of the things I've been having a hard time with is letting go of the career side of me. Not saying that it's going to be gone forever or anything, but just letting go of that like that that person that has these certain goals with, what that I'm doing and becoming a mom and transitioning into mom, as well as like, are my goals going to change when I get past, having the baby, or like those kind of thoughts. And I know you're probably like, "Oh my gosh, girl, you think way too much." But these are the things that pop up before change for me every time. Every time I hit a phase of new change or something that's new to me, I'm always scared. The first thing is I'm scared. The second thing is that I think, well, because you kind of mourn your old self. Like, it's not to say I don't love my baby. It's not to say I'm not excited to be a mom. It's nothing like that. It's just mourning the loss of a portion of me, because I feel like women that, um, and this is for anybody, this isn't just if you're like going down the career path or not, you are yourself before becoming a mother. And now things are about to change where you're no longer going to be fully yourself. There's going to be pivots. And so I bring all this up because these are the thoughts that I've been having prior to having my son. Like, I'm like, oh man, things are going to change. I wonder what my future will look like. How am I going to transition from worker bee to worker bee plus mom? Will my goals change? And then the thing is, I don't have a lot of family where I'm at, so how am I gonna juggle all that? I don't plan on moving home or anything. I'm not saying that that's what I want to do, because um, I really think that we were meant to travel. Even though a lot of people are like, "Oh gosh, you guys are crazy." I really do think we were meant to. I feel like uh, the opportunities that Jeremy has out here um, are so much more his kind of purpose and his what he wants. And for me, I'm not taking myself out because I love what I do. I want to move up and grow, um, and see what is going to come of it. But at the same time, I also need to be realistic in the sense that things are probably not going to be exactly the same when I get to the other side. And, I'm working from home, but also raising our son at the same time. So it's a lot to think about. A transition. I'm in that transitional period of just learning and growing, and trying not to go in too hot with too many expectations, or over, you know, doing it, or trying to scare myself too much, because um, I think it's important to be realistic too with myself and understand that not everything's going to go how I think it will. And that's why when change occurs, you can't assume it's going to be horrible or assume that's going to be fully blissful. You gotta have that happy medium. Or at least that's how I feel personally. I'm not telling others to do what you do. Like, this is just how I personally address these types of situations. And I'm sure the reason why I'm saying all this too is because when I come back in a year from now and I go and listen to me from a more sense of wisdom, because at that point I'll have a bit more time under my belt with my son. I'll have figured out where I decided to go with my career. Um, and probably be laughing at myself. I'm like, girl, you just thought way too much. Um, but these are the things that pop up, and I told you from the very beginning that I want to share where I'm at. I want to show you my story. It's not always going to um like, how do I say this? Like, I'm not expecting to give the answers that I don't have, but I'm also just trying to share like this is where I'm at in this period of time. And maybe some of you can relate if you are also about to be like a first time mom, or maybe some of you are kind of like chuckling to yourself and like, girl, you have no idea. I I remember being in your position and whatever, it shifted, whatever. So, which is good. And I think if you do want to share with me your experience, I'd love to hear it because I am curious to see, like, especially for those of you that have already had children, have already faced these concerns that I feel are so big right now, that may not be that big anymore for you, like uh, how you look back at yourself and see, oh, I was so worried about this thing, but then this happened. So I'm very curious. So this episode is all about just transitions. I'm making the transition into worker bee to mama, and then I do plan on going back to work. I do plan on, I know that it's not going to be easy working from home and paying attention to the baby. I know it's going to be a struggle in the beginning. I have that idea. Um, but I'm hoping that I find my flow, and I'm hoping that um, with Jeremy and our schedules, we'll be able to make it kind of flow really well. I can't say amazing because nothing is going to be amazing with a flow, but just make it flow where it's doable. And they've been so kind and generous in letting me know that I can transition starting off a little bit smooth coming back in, like when part-time working my way back to where I want to be. So that it's not so like bam, full time, bam, mama. Um, so I'm kind of excited for that. And in the future, when my son is older, I do plan on looking into childcare. I'm not saying that I'm not interested in doing that, especially since we don't really have a lot of family and we will probably need to have some form of childcare. Um, Obviously, depending on how that goes down. But I don't want to start that off with him so young, just because I don't think I could do that yet. I I feel like I would rather um I don't know, go through the transition of stress and all the stuff that's going to come with it first before just like bringing my son somewhere. So I don't plan on doing childcare immediately. Um, and that may be crazy, but one thing I've been learning about my life is that I have taken a path in life that is not mostly traveled by at least many that I know. Um, and it's every time I go down new waters, I find some form of a way to get through it or to learn it or to find wisdom in it or, to pivot if I need to. So that part I've been just kind of trusting in with these next steps is just trusting that whatever happens, it will be okay and it will figure it out. And I think that is I almost said hugest. Ugh. I think that's the biggest thing about life for us is that you, if we went into life knowing everything that was going to happen, then we weren't really living life, right? We weren't really learning anything because we already knew what's going to happen and what's expected. But so I think that's why I've been kind of calm in that part of it all is like I know that people have been worried, like, oh no, how are you going to do this if with the traveling, how are you going to do that with like working from home and all these things? And it's like, I just believe that we'll find our way. I believe we'll make it, go with a solution when we get to that. Of course, I'm going to always try to overplan and overthink. That's like a part of me. But I also am trying to be pretty open to pivoting. And I use the term pivoting because I feel like that's what has helped me personally with a lot of change is learning that, okay, I may go in thinking that this is going to happen. Doesn't mean that it will, but be ready to pivot. And if you can do that, if you can be ready to pivot or be ready to make a huge 180, then um, it's not as scary because you expect the unexpected, which is, I think, better than having expectations that are high and like this is going to happen exactly to the T versus I'm going to expect that things are going to be wild, but I'm going to learn it and get through it. So hopefully I didn't go in circles. I tend to do that when I get caught up in a thought, but that's where I'm at with it and the transitioning and just learning. Um, I'm excited um, for him to come. I'm scared still, of course. Like, it's like such the feelings of this whole thing is so funny, be getting closer to the end because it's like, oh, I cannot wait for baby to come. And then I'm like, oh, am I ready? So it's been an interesting journey, and I've been really just happy to be able to share it with you guys because I never thought I'd be in this position. I honestly started to give up and think that um, children were not going to be in my cards, and that just would have to be that. So it's been nice to go through this. I know we're not there yet. You know, we haven't met him yet. We haven't had the labor yet, but yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. In the middle of transitions, I did say, I think I told you guys I was gonna be working on my hospital bag. The only reason why I didn't do it, and it sounds so lame, I'm sure, but Jeremy had to leave for a week to work on some unfinished business that we had in New York with one of our cars. And so he had to leave for probably 5 days. He'll be back about Thursday late. Um and so I was going to take the time while he was gone to pack my hospital bag. But I decided that it almost felt like I was suggesting if I pack this bag that the baby will come. And I know that's like kind of like saying, oh, if a black cat crosses your path, turn around kind of deal. I know it's like it sounds like a superstition, but I was like, even if it is a superstition, I should just be safe and try not to um manifest that into my life right now because I want him to come when his daddy's here. So, I didn't end up packing the hospital bag yet. I do have a list though on keep notes of everything that I'm putting in the bag. I have a list for him, the baby, and Jeremy, and I've had those lists made for like weeks now. And I've a lot of people have been picking on me in my planning, but and I know that the thing is, at the end of the day, even being a planner, it's important to know that I know not everything is going to be used, or not everything needs to be planned, or not everything has to be, um, like I won't be able to foresee everything that happens. And that is something I totally understand. But the thing is, I just have it in me. I just have to plan. It's just a part of me. And but the beautiful thing about me too is that I know I add that pivoting term. I also know I can pivot. And I think that's important for me because it helps me not feel let down or upset that, oh, well, I planned all this and it didn't happen. I don't react that way because I already expected that probably something is going to happen that I didn't expect, that a wrench is going to be thrown into the plan. And, like, hey, if tomorrow I do end up going into labor, it is what it is. Like, just because I didn't pack the hospital bag doesn't mean the baby's gonna listen to that. So I'm aware of those things. I just think it's important you guys know that because some of you are like thinking that I'm such a planner that I'm expecting it to be perfect and it will go. A goes to B plus C to D to E. But that's not really how I am. And there are many people like me that plan that are able to have that pivot buffer as okay, a pivot could happen, and that's okay. It relieves so much stress, I'm telling you, to have that feeling and knowing like I it's just so much easier. So yeah, so I'm excited. I'm hoping that we'll be able to talk to this lady soon about baby massages. I'm hoping to find the chiropractor to talk to and just a few other people to come in to help talk about these next steps in motherhood. This does not mean, though, that mental health or advocating for women's health or career and relationships are fully gone on the Brie Pod because there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes up. There's going to be a lot of things that I want to share that's a part of the journey, or that's, being talked about. Like, as you know, October is uh, intimate partner abuse slash domestic violence awareness month. I still have a passion for that. I still have a passion for mental health awareness. I think it's very important that these topics are still discussed. So it's not full blown motherhood, but right now we are like I think in the depths of motherhood because it's coming so soon. Like we are, let's see, I think Friday I turned 36 weeks, or turned, I will be 36 weeks. So it's coming down to the wire. It's crazy. But I appreciate all of you for everything you've ever done for me, for supporting me, for loving me, watching me grow, helping me grow, and following this story because it's nice to not be alone. And with that, you are loved, you are worthy, you are cherished, and I am proud of you. Until next time on the Pre Pod.